cold and windy today. Got up this morning, I think it was 19 degrees, but we're still doing fine. House is fine, water's not freezing. Doing a really fantastic job. So just another day living off grid. I'm having a little problem with my firewood though. I don't know what is going on. It keeps falling over all of a sudden. So this pile, which has never fallen over, I've never had a problem with this, fell over. So that direction. And this side, I had all picked up except what's underneath the tarp, but some more of it just fell. I don't quite understand what happened. I had it all kind of straightened up and fixed, but I can't imagine the wind is pushing that hard. The wind's coming from the north, so the wind should be pushing this way, not this way. So I don't know, strange. I got to get some of this firewood up to the house by Wednesday. It's supposed to rain Wednesday, and so I've kind of noticed that I got to be careful with the rain and snow when it comes to the firewood. The stove requires 20% moisture content, and all this wood is 20%. Now when it rains, the outside core, the outside of the firewood gets wet, and when that happens, I notice that the glass on the wood stove is getting stained, like there's water in the wood. So I got to keep it dry. And I've only had a couple, maybe, I wouldn't even say 6 pieces that I've had this problem with. So I got to keep it dry. So what I do now is, before it rains and snows and everything, is I try to get as much into the house and underneath the porch roof as possible. I know somebody's going to say, you need to build a lean-to over your firewood. I've said many times I'm not going to do it. I've got way too much firewood, and there's too much of it spread out throughout the property. So I'm not going to spend the money. I'm happy with what we got. And again, I don't know. It seems like people want to spend $1,000 on a $5 problem. It's just not that big of a deal. I grabbed some firewood before it rains, and it's nice to have the firewood up towards the house anyways, because when I go outside at night, 8 o'clock, I collect a handful of firewood, bring it into the house, load the firewood into the stove. I don't have to come down here. So all this kind of forces me to plan ahead. I could see myself getting lazy, not filling the porch up, and then when it's at 8 o'clock at night, I gotta come down here and try to, when it's dark, try to fish my way through all this, and flashlight. Just a simple solution. So no, I have no intentions of building too much more in the near future. I'm quite content with what we got. I know people want to see construction, but this just isn't a construction channel, and I'm not much into construction. I know I built a tiny house, but that's not what I am. It was just to see if I could do it. Well, not even to see what I can do. It's just, we wanted to build a tiny house, so we built one. But beyond that, I don't think that we're going to build much more. I'm going to start the generator so we can fill the water. So I'm taking the cover off again so it gets plenty of oxygen. It'll probably run okay today, since we I don't know, it's breezy, but I think the temperature may be above freezing right now. It's like 36 degrees maybe, so it's not extremely cold, but I tell you, that wind sure does make it cold. It's hard for me to grasp my audience. I know there's a lot of people in the South, especially Florida and Texas, that watch my videos. It's hard for me to grasp that you guys may not be that cold. So now I'm going to let that warm up. The chickens are going to want to come out today. They see me, and now the snow is kind of melted. I think yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think I had the video where I showed you I let the chickens out yesterday. And this is just kind of my routine now. Just fill up the water one day. Makes for a nice video. I can talk about it while I'm filling the tank. The tarp again, since the wind's coming from the north, I put the tarp on the north side so the wind doesn't go inside the cracks and crevices of the tank box. It's not sealed up or anything. Sure, it's a good design. I know, again, a lot of people think I really should do something different with this tank. but it just works so well. Now, as you know, this box is heated. I got air blowing in from the house through a fan and ventilation, and so it's heated. But this thing, it still gets a little chilly in here. It's not enough to freeze the plumbing because plumbing is inside the ventilation. But when I put my hose in here, I just throw my hose in here wherever I can find, room. And so it's still pretty cold in this area. The tank itself isn't that cold because I'm putting hot water in it from the well. The well water is 60 degrees. So every 2 days, I warm the tank up about 10 degrees. It's a really good system. It's worked really well, except for the hose. People say I need to bury the hose underground. I'm not going to, because I got filters on it that I'd want to replace all the time, and I just like to set up the way it is. During the winter, it's a little bit inconvenient, but not too bad. On the other end, plugged into the well, this little piece right here froze up. It doesn't happen very often. It was just that one little spot. The rest of the hose was fine. So I took it in a hot pot of water. I have a pot of water on the wood stove. I just ducked it in there for a few seconds and it thawed right out. Now the other thing I do that a lot of subscribers will know, but new people don't, is I put bleach in my water here because I don't test the well. I know it's an old well, it's got problems, so I put bleach in it to purify it. Bleach is used in your city water. The FDA recommends it. You can go to the FDA website, it'll tell you how much to put in. So I put bleach in it. Then I berkey the water, and that takes the bleach out. Now also, evaporation takes the bleach out. So sitting here for a couple days, the bleach is going to evaporate out of this. You're not even going to notice it. You put it in a pan of water, boil it, just in a couple minutes it'll bleach be out of it. So bleach is just a good purifier to get the bacteria out of it. The problem is I got this nice coat on. It's Carhartt. Now I know people have opinions about Carhartt because now they're forcing employees to get vaccinated, but that's beside the point. But I got this nice Carhartt on. I always got to remember to take it off because inevitably I hit a spot with the bleach every time. So what I've been doing is taking a little magic marker and covering up the bleach spots on my brand new coat. This is like a super insulated one. They had like a $100 coat and then like a $160 coat. So this is a nice coat. It really keeps me warm. I really like it, so I'm trying to take care of it. It's hard to do out on the homestead, of course. I have an older coat in there. Well, just maybe a more inexpensive coat. So I put it on occasionally, but today I didn't want to go in, switch coats out, deal with the camera. So I just took it off. Man, it was cold out here. But I'm trying to preserve this coat. But you'll see every piece of clothing I have has a bleach mark on it somewhere because of this. It's just part of the life. I know somebody's going to say, you should do this, but I'm not going to. So don't waste your time telling me what I should do. I think the rest of it that I got laying on the ground, this firewood I was showing you, I think the pieces are too big. And with it laying on the ground, I just don't trust it. So I'm just going to restack that back up on the pile towards the end of the winter, I think. And so I'm just going to grab the smaller pieces off this pile, like this one right here. I think we had an earthquake here a few days ago, and it knocked the pile over. But like I said, I tried to pick it back up, and it's not working. So these little pieces, this is all hard to do with the camera. I'm going to carry 3 pieces of wood. Seems like a wasted trip, but I can carry a much bigger load without the camera in my hand. But I'm glad we found a spot that has good dry wood. I think next year we're going to have all the wood would be dry. And I've told you before, the reason this dried so fast is because the wind is blowing through it, north and south. All the other wood is lined up east and west, and so the wind doesn't blow through it, so it takes longer for that to dry. I didn't realize how significant that was. It's a big difference. We're talking wood that's 16 months old that's 23% versus wood that's 9 or 10 months old that's 15%. Huge difference. If you got an opportunity, run the firewood stack east and west so the wind can blow through it north and south. Assuming this pile hadn't fallen over also, the wind is blowing through this. This is the north side, the other side's the south side. Today the wind is blowing through the from the north going through that, it dries it out really quick. The problem we have is everything we have north and south is downhill. We're downhill going north, so it keeps falling over. So that's our only downside. But like I said before, we have enough firewood to last the rest of our life, so I'm not going to go around restacking it, because next year it should be dry. So I'm going to let the chickens out for a couple minutes, give them some corn. That should make everybody happy. So pretty much how my routine is each day, well, every other day. I do water one day, and then the other day I skip the water, and then the next day I do the water. Now if it's way too cold and the hose would freeze before I could get the water turned on, then I don't do it that day. I try to let the chickens out every day just to give them a little bit of room to flap their wings around. These are the Americanas. The silver one is Two-Face again. I haven't named this one. I don't know what we'll name. I don't know if we'll name them all. Wonder if their water is frozen. I probably should check their water. They're eating snow. I'll have to go in and check that after I'm done. But I think most of the chickens are producing eggs now. At least getting 7 eggs. And we have 12 hens. So a little over half are producing now. Hey, if you'll check out this video right here on the pop-up around my face, I'd appreciate it. That takes you over to the other channel. I hope I can inspire you to have an easy life with your routines. Thanks for watching.